Greetings and salutations, everyone.
Greetings, my friend.
that totally fucking didn't sound stiff as fuck or anything.
Greetings.
It's because I just this second realised that I probably haven't done my dark screen yet, so I was like, oh crap.
God damn
Oh
it.
no.
We trusted you.
I know, I'm Mason in the slightly less dark. There we go.
It's okay.
There we go. Now I'm in the dark.
And now I see the light.
Oh no, they might see my face.
Oh no.
Which coincidentally, and now I see the light is like a perfect improvised intro to what we're looking at today.
Yes.
You doing impro? Never.
I know. Perish the thought. God, I would never stoop so low as to base myself and allow myself to be one of these clowns that jumps for the amusement of the crowd.
What?
God, you heard
Improv
me.
is not a skill that you have.
It's no. Why?
No.
Why? It's the art of pedance and oh my God, Caitlin.
What?
I don't think you can find Breaking Dawn by itself anymore.
It's been dead.
What do you mean? No,
I'm looking, and the only thing I can find is the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1, the official illustrated movie companion.
Oh no. Oh no. Hold on. I found it last night because I had to get the cover.
Okay.
And
of course,
also,
we can't do it. Kate can.
Also, for those of you who have the misconception that the book was actually divided into and published bisected, it was not. It was published as one unabridged volume. It was only split into two for the purpose of milking the movie cash cow.
Capitalizing on the
yeah
precedent set by the Harry Potter films.
Right. Yeah. Because the book itself is, yes, split into three sections. But because I'm getting the link for you right now simultaneously, but I'm telling you, okay, the book itself is split into three sections. The first and third parts are actually narrated by Bella, and the one in the middle was narrated by Jacob, actually.
I don't remember that. I have read it. I just don't remember that.
Yeah. All right. I sent it to you in the group thing.
Yeah. So this is the one where she turns Jacob into a sex offender, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What?
Well, she does.
She did.
She literally is like, she has Jacob fall in love with the baby, and then she's like, he'll be a big brother to her until she hits puberty, and then they'll get it on. I mean, that's
Right, yeah.
paraphrasing, but that's basically what she said.
Yes, yeah. No joke.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. They have the baby, and Jacob, quote unquote, imprints on her, and Maya explains it as he will be like a guardian to her, like a big brother, until the time at which she's old enough to engage in a relationship, at which point he is her soulmate, and they will then be together.
Yeah.
Fuck yes. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
That's profoundly creepy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah, just a tiny smidge.
It's like, what the fuck, Stephenie? That's
Yeah.
I need to give Jacob a happy ending. Yeah, not that kind of happy
not
ending.
That kind of. This like that's not a happy ending. You're like, no.
That doesn't make me feel good.
She's like, I'm taking a page out of George R.R. Martin's kind of like, let's do old world medieval shit. However, but let's like move it forward, and put it in a modern setting because that works. Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to give him a happy ending, just send him to a massage parlor. Jesus, Steph.
Right. You didn't have to turn him into a Mormon.
Oh, God.
All right, where's an air horn button when you need it? Shots fired! Okay, guys, we're jumping the gun here. So listen, everyone, if the thumbnail didn't tip you off, we're here to continue the trial of Stephenie Meyer.
Yes.
My name is Zach. This is Kate, and that guy in the dark is Mason, and we are
Bad Prose, what you gonna do when the Prose Police are coming for you? Bad Prose.
That's right, motherfucker. We're the
Officer Mason reporting for duty.
Yeah.
That's right, citizen. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So we're gonna dig into this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
and,
boy.
Yeah,
oh
right.
boy.
Oh boy.
Golly, oh geez.
I'm interested in this one though because of Kate's inflammatory claims about this one.
About how it's actually written by Stephenie. Oh my God, the preface is back.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah. All of her stuff have prefaces.
Return of the preface.
Yes, the return of the preface. Oh God.
Episode 4, the preface strikes back.
Right. Because this is formatted like a nonfiction novel. Like, not novel. Damn it. I'm so stupid. Anyway, this is formatted like a nonfiction volume of something. Yeah.
It's formatted like
manuscript.
One of those
that
novels.
Thing. Yeah, because I words the gooder around here.
You need that on a t-shirt. You two say that so often. It needs a t-shirt.
Caitlin, that doesn't need to happen. Write it down.
Yep. I words the gooder. I do.
All right. This is Stephenie Meyer's on trial for Breaking Dawn, the Twilight Saga. Preface, which should actually be the prologue. But
that's the first offense right there.
It should be prelude because
this
is not structured like a prologue.
You're right. Thank you. Prelude. That's the word I would. Thank you. Okay. Caitlin, can you see my screen on the StreamYard?
I can see it. They look like little hieroglyph things, but I have it pulled up on mine, so.
She wrote it in wingdings.
You're right. Hey, that would have been more interesting.
I knew you were going to say that. Brilliant.
You guys.
I love you too, man.
Let's try this again.
Yes.
Practice.
Yes.
I've had more than I've had more than my fair share of near-death experiences. It wasn't something that you ever really got used to. Couldn't make it through the first sentence without a grammatical error, could we? Could we, Stephenie?
No. No.
Okay, so for those of you who English might be your second language, I've had more than my fair share of near-death experiences. Semicolon. It wasn't something you ever really got used to. Archive, can you explain? Because I know the syntax there isn't quite right, but I can't explain it. Can you?
Well, I've had more. I'd had
Right.
more than my fair share of near-death experiences. It should have been I've. Actually.
Right.
And then should it also
sorry.
not be, it's not something that you get used to in that case then as well?
Yes.
Rather than got used
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
to. Oh dear.
Yeah.
So,
and
It's the literary equivalent of crashing into a wall the minute you start driving.
yes.
Well, I don't know about crashing into a wall, but certainly hitting a fucking pothole.
Yeah.
Because
It's
I'd had more than my fair share of near-death experiences. And you don't end a sentence. It's never good practice to end a sentence with things like to. If you can avoid it.
You're gonna have to explain that one.
Yeah.
Well, ending it with this, I can't remember the technical explanation for it, but it was always explained to me that it was just not good practice.
Is it because is this one of those informal rules where it's something that English teachers tell you not to do because it's a weak ending to a sentence?
That kind of like beginning a sentence with but,
Right.
or
Right.
and, or as well as.
Right.
If there are things that you can avoid it.
I do
Filing information.
I do occasionally start a sentence with and or but it's infrequent.
Yeah.
And
I mean, not saying you can't.
My prose is everywhere else. I get to buy that.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
that level of tomfoolery with language.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyways, so that's the first paragraph. Next paragraph. It seemed oddly inevitable, though facing death again. That shouldn't be a period.
No.
Like I really was marked for disaster. Yeah, that's where that sentence should have ended. So it seemed oddly inevitable, comma, though, comma, facing death again. It's a period. It should have been a comma.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I really was marked for disaster. Yeah, so this is one of the few times that she's made a sentence with a lot of commas where you can actually justify it.
Mm-hmm.
except she cut the idea in half, and she put a period where there should have been yet another comma. God, Stephenie, you can't even
because
properly.
Yeah, because like I really was marked for disaster, aside from the fact that the syntax is completely shit.
Right.
It's a fragment.
Yeah. Well, the syntax would be fine if it was attached to the sentence before it.
Yeah.
But standing out on its own,
yeah.
Syntax. It's like it's like you're listening to a Cali girl and she's like, you know, doing that thing where they're talking like they're like, and so I was like at the mall and I got this book and like the narrator talks like exactly like me. Like I felt so smart, you know?
Like I really was marked for disaster.
Yeah. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. Can you believe it? This should be somebody should write a story like that.
No, they shouldn't. Even I wouldn't do that, and I don't have a serious bone in my body, and even I wouldn't do that. Although it would be pretty funny.
Yeah, see, exactly, and this is why it should be done.
So I like open my wardrobe, and there was this big like furry kind of thing, and it was staring at me, and it like had all these like claws.
Yeah.
Like mane, like I think that's what they call it, right? Like a mane, like when there's a bunch of hair like around the head, but like it's not like the regular hair, you know? Yeah, like so okay. Like gray and like poofy, and it looks so cute. I just wanted to like put my hands through it. It would have been oh my God, it would have been so good, you guys.
Yeah, because of course she has to fall in love with it. Yeah, definitely.
Of course, yeah, duh. And then I realized
when we go out together, it's like both trying to go for it at the same time. When we go out together, it's like Beauty and the Beast. It's so adorable.
Like, oh my
and, like,
God.
We were walking through the square the other day, and like this dude said, "Oh my God, it's the king of beasts," and like, "Oh my God, I'm dating a king!" Like, oh my God.
It's like, oh my God. It was like, but Tiffany, it's just your Furby.
No, it's a faux friend. That was in the wardrobe. The mechanical companions that can accompany you anywhere.
Oh man.
Continue.
They can't run away. They have no legs.
No, they do, because they have to look lifelike. Everything is real, including the skin. That's what makes them so lovable.
Oh God.
Yeah. I love the evil laugh.
Run your hands through their silky smooth hair. It feels so real. Because it is.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
That line is in the actual advert. It must have been so long that you forgot about it.
Soylent Green is people. It's people. Yeah, no, we caught that line. We heard that line in the original. It's just,
it's
of all the funny shit in there, it's like it gets buried under the deluge of comedy that is. It's just another one of the throwaway horrible things I'm hearing.
It's like, oh my, that was disturbing.
Anyways.
Yes.
Okay. Oh God. Caitlin, we got to clip out this whole section where we just made a Cali girl date Aslan to put it up as a clip.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, we're not even through the first half of the first fucking page.
This is why I love doing Twilight. This is why I love it.
Yes.
Okay.
This always happens.
I'd escaped time and time again, but it kept coming back for me. Oh, finally, a properly crafted sentence.
Yes.
Still, this time was so different from the others. Okay, that one's fine. Comma right after still.
Why, Bella? Tell us why it's different, Bella.
Mm-hmm.
That's well, we'll get there.
I know.
You could run from someone you feared. You could try to fight someone you hated. All my reactions were geared towards those kinds of killers, the monsters, the enemies. Unnecessary M dash. We didn't even make it through the first page. When you loved one who was killing you, it left you no options. How could you run? How could you fight? When doing so would hurt that beloved one. If your life was all you had to give your beloved, how could you not give it? If it was someone you truly loved.
Well, that's a great message to send. Well done, Stephenie.
Right.
If you love them, you can't leave, no matter what they do to you.
Well, in the context of where that is later in the story, what with it being her child, it's a little bit different. But I see what you're saying, Mason.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, because it'll be about the
the baby sucking the life out of her.
The little demon child.
Oh my god. She certainly has a demon name, Renesmee. That's fucking biblical. What that is. It sounds like the demon that tempted Sodom and Gomorrah into its ways. Renesmee. What the fuck?
I have two names that I want to call my child, but I can't decide, so I'll just mash them together, even though they don't sound nice.
Right.
Oh my god. So I can't decide between naming her and Esmeralda. Oh, I got it. Renesmee. Oh my god, girl. Yeah.
Oh my god.
That is just sitting here
so good.
No. Oh god, please no. Why did I put a baby inside this bitch?
I was fooled by the peroxide. I don't know. I don't even know if it made sense. It just seemed funny.
I assumed that you were talking about she was a bottle blonde.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god, that's funny. All the Playboy bunnies with the bleach blonde hair.
Yeah. Wow. It's like Chad Kruger was right there. It's brilliant. We've got like a mega band going on. We've got we've got Dave Grohl and Chad Kruger in the same space.
Yeah.
You do kind of look like Dave Grohl now that I think about it.
I get that all the time. Like literally, I went for a drink around my mate Dan's house last week. His brother comes in. It's like, wow, your hair's really long. I was like, yeah, look what it's like when it's down, because most of the time I wear it in a ponytail.
Right.
And he was like, I was like, yeah, what it's like when it's down. He's like, you know what you kind of look like? And inside I was like, I know where this is going. It's like, Dave Grohl. Yeah. I've had that before.
I knew it.
That's unfortunate. Caitlin can testify to this. I get Chad Kroger all the time.
All the time.
People routinely ask me if I'm the guy from Nickelback. I'm not even kidding. That's something that happens to me at least once a month.
Well, we went to
that's why I'm in Kroger's right now. Yes, I'm a millionaire, and that's why I'm in the mall right now.
Hey, millionaires go to malls. They just go to those really, really bougie, fancy ones that are like inside gated communities.
Right.
We should really get back to policing these pros.
Imagine
if this is what they did in an actual trial. Like, imagine the Depp trial. It's just every 2 minutes they're like, okay, just pause your testimony for just a second because I've got a really funny story.
Just Amber Heard admits to shitting on the bed. The judge is like, this one time I dated this bitch. psycho.
Oh man.
Not in a good way. Not in the fun, like, oh, she like ride my dick off kind of way. Like in the, oh God, I'm sleeping kind of way.
Right.
All right. No one is staring at you. I promised myself. No one is staring at you. No one is staring at you. That's compelling stuff. Compelling stuff, Stephenie.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But because I couldn't lie convincingly, even to myself, I had to check. No one can lie convincingly to themselves. That's why lying to yourself causes so many mental health problems.
That's right.
As I sat waiting for one of the 3 traffic lights in town to turn green, I peeked to the right. In her minivan, Mrs. Weber had turned her whole torso in my direction. Her eyes bored into mine, and I flinched back, wondering why she didn't drop her gaze or look ashamed.
Oh my.
Wait
Probably
a minute.
Because you're sparkling.
Is this seriously one long sentence? Because if it is, this is
yeah.
As I sat waiting for one of the 3 traffic lights in town to turn green, I peeked to the right. That MDAS should have been a period. Or a comma. In her minivan, Miss Weber had turned her whole torso in my direction. Okay, so yeah, it's fine to end that sentence there, but that MDAS didn't need to be there.
No.
And
just as a personal note, I probably would have switched that round so that it would have been Mrs. Weber in her minivan had turned her entire torso to face me.
Yeah, that's a voice thing. I can let that one go as just being an author voice thing. I do understand what you're saying. And that's one of the fun things about the English language is you get to play with little stuff like that and tweak the language. And that's what it's those little things that make up narrator voice.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to point that out as an offense. That was just this is how I would have done that.
Right. Yeah, I got you. But for sure, we need to remove this M- and then make that a comma and not separate in her minivan Miss Weber with a comma.
So we're at 6 so far.
Yeah, these M- she loves, she fucking loves these things, and it's like you fuck up perfectly good sentences because you insist on M-dashing them. You don't get.
If she loves them so much, then why does she abuse them so badly?
I don't understand. It's like narcissists. They tell themselves they love the people they're in relationships, but really loving that person is just an extension of loving themselves because that person makes them feel good. Yeah. That's Stephenie Meyer's relationship with M-dashes.
Just an entire therapy session of Stephenie Meyer talking to her therapist about her relationship with M-dashes.
M-dashes.
It all started when my dad told me that M-dashes were more important to him than me.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I just pulled that out of my ass.
Okay. All right.
Her eyes bored into mine, and I flinched back, wondering why she didn't drop her gaze or look ashamed. Okay, yeah, that sentence is fine. It was still considered rude to stare at people, wasn't it? Didn't that apply?
Says the Mrs. Not Breathing starer.
Exactly.
I haven't forgotten, Bella.
Right. Yep.
Right.
I'll stare at you widely while not breathing.
I'm sorry, Zach. It's just
He's doing it.
Shovel face.
Shovel face.
Okay. Oh God, my mom is in there cooking bacon. Oh fuck, it smells so good.
Oh.
It was considered rude to stare at people, wasn't it? Then I remembered that these windows were so darkly tinted that she probably had no idea if it was even me in here, let alone that I'd caught her looking. I tried to make some comfort in the fact that she wasn't really staring at me, just the car. My car. Sigh. What the fuck?
But
What?
I thought her eyes were boring into yours.
Right. Okay, so you could argue that that's just one of those things that's a perception of the narrator thing. But the reason it comes off as being so frustratingly irritating in the novel or in the writing, excuse me, is because it's like it's over dramatic, angsty, or not angsty. It's over dramatic, nervous teenage bullshit, and that's like you have to serve that shit in doses because it gets old real quick. And this is literally the first page, and we've gotten 3 servings of it on the first fucking page.
We're 7 deep offenses. I'm keeping track.
Nice. We're gonna have to like get a fucking counter at some point that we can fucking add to the stream. Yeah. Thank you, Mason. Maybe now that Kate is gonna have a nice new PC that she's setting up today, we'll
find a way to figure that out.
We're gonna do that on Twitch right after this stream, by the way, folks. Yeah. Okay. If you're feeling adventurous, Twitch. But yeah, Stephenie, just God, lay off the teenage fucking awkwardness. It's I glanced to the left and groaned. 2 pedestrians were frozen on the sidewalk, missing their chance to cross as they stared. Behind them, Mr. Marshall was gawking through the plate glass window of his little souvenir shop. At least he didn't have his nose pressed up against the glass yet.
I wish he did. That'd be brilliant.
The light turned green, and in my hurry to escape, I stomped on the gas pedal without thinking, the normal way I would have punched it to get my ancient Chevy truck moving. Engine snarling like a hunting panther, the car jolted forward so fast that my body slammed into the black leather seat and my stomach flattened against my spine. Arg! I gasped as I fumbled. Break. Arg! A-R-G!
Arg! Ah! Yar! Me hearty. What's her?
That's sigh and arg that we've had written down now within a very short amount of time. I hate that. Sorry, but I do.
Yeah. The reason Dolge gets away with sigh in the narrative is because Dolge is a mature, grown, and enjoyably eccentric and flamboyant personality. If you're going to do things like sigh or have the character make silly sounds, you have to buy that with their general personality.
Yeah, like you couldn't have Evander be like
exactly,
because that just wouldn't work with what Evander's personality is like. Another day of trudging through the rugged, sprawling wilderness. Sigh.
Actually, I think you could get away with it. I think you could get away with it, Mason. No, seriously, because in Vander's case too, again, the character is mature, and so when we see someone who's mature sigh, we suspend any frustration with the mannerism because we think that this person is probably sighing for a good reason. Like they're frustrated, or they've had a long day, or they just had an unpleasant thought, or something like that. With Bella, it's like, we know you're signed because you're an over-dramatic edgelord.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in all fairness, though, I wouldn't have as much problem with it if it was like, if she was saying that she sighed, as opposed to it being, it's almost like an internet-ism. Like,
Right.
like,
sigh. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's almost like she put lol or something in the
Right.
manuscript.
Yes.
Which, if that was Delge, totally. Like, and I'm sure Delge probably will say lol at some point. But...
Mason's predictive abilities strike again.
He was always going to say that, especially with the recent developments.
Yes.
Yep. Although,
why are they all staring at her? Because she's got a car.
because it's a Jaguar, I think, because she's driving a nice Jaguar through Forks. I guess
Shitty, rainy Forks.
Right.
Rolls eyes.
That's and see, I gotta tell you, folks. Okay.
Yeah.
People in small towns, they don't gawk at like a semi-nice car like this. That's another thing about that really pisses me off is Stephenie has no idea how small town people behave. And it's very indicative of the fact that she has no idea what small town America is actually like. I've been in a lot of small towns, including in my home state of Washington. People don't gawk at a Jaguar, okay? It's the poor man's fucking nice car. It's not that fucking spectacular. Now, if a Ferrari drove through, they'd be like, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, like she's going through in a Bugatti Veyron or something like that.
Yeah.
What was that?
So like if she's driving through the streets in a Bugatti Veyron or something like that.
Right, exactly. Like, then people would be like, huh? But it's like, dude, I've met fucking people who worked at like Safeway that drove a Jaguar. It's not that it's not that big a deal. It's really not. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
ooh, we have comment.
What is it?
It's Barry. And he says, come on, I'm sure we'll show it on the thing here. How to torment your readers. Tie them up and read Twilight out loud until they break or fall into a coma.
They will happen. But which one will happen first?
Which one?
Will you break or will you die? The death is a form of breaking, perhaps. Hey, welcome back to the show, Barry. Long time no see. Hope you're doing well, bud.
Welcome, Barry.
Welcome.
So, anyways, okay. I gasped as I fumbled. Yeah, sure. Arg, I gasped. Arg is not a gasping sound. A gasp.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna try to gasp. Arg. You see, you can't do it. Arg is a projection of air. Gasp is an inhale. They're contradictory, Stephenie.
Exactly. It's like, how did you go?
It can't be done. Show me someone who can gasp Arg. It's too total functions of the voice box.
The latest viral trend, the ARG challenge. Can you gasp ARG? If you can, I'll give you $1 million.
I don't know about $1 million, but I'll sign a copy of my book using my dick dipped in ink.
Right, no, I definitely can't do it.
Lunar is like, I'm practicing. I'm practicing.
Wait, is Lunar here?
No.
No, but he would be. That's what he'd be like.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
His boss like, Luna, what are you doing? Practicing.
I'm practicing to gas.
Okay. Anyways. Okay. All right. Chill. Okay. Keeping my head, I merely tapped the pedal. The car lurched to an absolute standstill anyway.
Right. Take her license off her.
Oh my god, dude. Keeping my head. Yes, because that's how teenage girls talk, Stephenie. Keeping my head.
I like keep my head. So I like keep my head, and then I just tap the pedal, and it comes to a complete stop. Like, I couldn't believe it.
Like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
Barry, he says, place his hand on chest, staggers backward like Fred Sanford from Sanford and Son. Gaspy.
Continue, Zach. Let's actually try to get through some of this.
I mean, we have
That's bad. That's bad, but it's not an actual offense, that one, I wouldn't say.
I mean, I would say it's an actual offense in inconsistent narrator voice, because again, this is a teenage girl in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You're totally keeping my head. Totally. Yeah, that's what teenage girls talk like. Bet.
Yes.
I couldn't bear to look around at the reaction. If there had been any doubt as to who was driving this car before, it was gone now. With the toe of my shoe, I gently nudged the gas pedal down 1/2 millimeter, and the car shot forward again.
Oh my god.
1/2 millimeter. Oh god.
Yes, Bella, because you are driving a fucking NASCAR fucking something one. Caitlin, you're from the South. You should know this.
You're from the South.
I don't watch NASCAR.
I know, but like you're in the South, you should hear enough people just talking about this on a regular basis.
It's like a Oh, are you talking about one of those like little like the ones that are really low to the ground that look like tricked out go-karts?
No, it
doesn't matter. 1/2 millimeter though. That's terrible.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, is what it is. It's like I've driven some pretty high precision cars. Okay, I've been in a car where I hit the gas and I almost slammed it into another car when I was working at a car shop. I tapped the gas and it shot back in reverse, and I had to slam on the brake. I was literally within an inch of another bumper. I've been in cars that are touchy.
Yeah.
1/2 millimeter? Nope.
Measure 1/2 millimeter with your fingers right now. You can't. You don't know what 1/2 millimeter is, like off the top of your head. It's so exact.
Like who?
And it's so that the thing is, 1/2 millimeter is like literally nothing. It's like I think a grain of rice is a millimeter, isn't it? Like
what's even smaller than a millimeter? Yeah. Is there even a measurement that's smaller than a millimeter? I don't even know.
I think it's a decimeter. I think.
I pressed the gas down, a decimeter.
1/2 of a decimeter. Yeah. Okay, anyways, moving forward. I couldn't bear to look around.
I think it's a micrometer.
Micrometer, yes, that's what it is. Thank you, Caitlin. I managed to reach my goal, the gas station. If I hadn't been running on vapors, I wouldn't have come into town at all. I was going without a lot of things these days, like Pop-Tarts and shoelaces, to avoid spending time in public.
What?
Oh my god. I was going without a lot of things, like Pop-Tarts and shoelaces.
Yeah, because, we're really roughing it out here.
I'm sorry. Your shoes came with laces. What the fuck happened to those?
Right.
Edward ate them. Oh no! It'd be her dad, wouldn't it? Her dad thought that they were spaghetti.
Oh my god! No, it was Jacob. You know, because he's a dog.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Dalge would be giving you such a dirty look right now.
Dalge is me. I don't give a fuck. Like the other half of my psyche. The other half of my psyche looks at me funny all the time. I don't give a fuck. I did 2 years in therapy to not care what the other half of my mind says about me. Okay.
That's a great line, by the way.
What, I did 2 years in therapy to not care what the other half of my mind says about me?
Yes.
That's a relatively short time to tackle such a deep issue, in all fairness.
You know, when you have something, and it was actually a year too, because I say 2 years because I was working with 2 therapists. So cumulatively, it was 2 years of therapy done in 1 year, is how I look at that. But yes, it really is amazing how much mental health work you can get done in such a short time when you're actually truly motivated to change. It really is profound.
I thought you were going to say how much mental strength I have then. Like, it really is amazing how much mental strength I have.
I mean, it is, but I don't want to jerk up. I don't want to jerk myself off too much on camera. You know what I mean? There's TOS, and, and all this shit. I just better just wait until the camera's not rolling. Looking at you, Jeff Rubin. All right.
She was roughing it without her Pop-Tarts and her shoelaces.
Right. Yeah, it's... Okay, moving as if I were in a race. I got the hatch open, the cap off, the card scanned, and the nozzle in the tank within seconds. Of course, there was nothing I could do to make the numbers on the gauge pick up the pace. They ticked by sluggishly, almost as if they were doing it just to annoy me. Yes, Stephenie, the entirety of the physical world has conspired to make this situation as awkward as possible.
Oh my god.
Ticking by sluggish. Go on, sorry. Okay.
Is she describing her experiences out in public after like the first 3 books got so panned by critics?
They tick by sluggishly, almost as if they were doing it just to annoy me. Almost like the pacing of this preface.
Yeah.
Well, so we're
in the first chapter.
Now. Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have.
Okay.
I'm sorry. 1 engaged is the chapter with the preface ended at if it was someone you truly loved.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Mason. I forgot I had to make those things clear. My bad.
It's okay.
Of course, there was nothing I could do to make the numbers on the gauge pick up the pace. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. It wasn't bright out. M dash, a typically drizzly day in Forks. Washington, in Forks, Washington, M dash. You know
That's
what I
awful.
well, actually, that's technically it's a proper use of M dashes technically, but it's we all know you're in Forks at this point,
right?
We all know you're in Forks at this point. Why do you feel the need to keep? Oh, hey, by the way, we're in Forks, Washington. Did I tell you we're in Forks, Washington? Hey, I know that this is the 3rd, or actually this is the 4th. This is the 4th book in the series, and like everyone knows where the setting is at this point. But just so you know, we're in Forks, Washington.
Sorry, Steph, I forgot. Where are we? I fell asleep.
Forks, Washington, motherfucker. But I still felt like a spotlight was trained on me, drawing attention to the delicate ring on my left finger. At times like this, sensing the eyes on my back, it felt as if the ring were pulsing like a neon sign. : look at me. Look at me. Oh God, I can't. Go ahead.
Cali girl voice just slipping in there.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, look
Right.
at me.
And it's like
Look at that.
Bella has this it's supposed to be melodrama, but it sometimes bleeds over into clinical narcissism.
Yes.
The thing is, though, if we actually stop to look at this from a psychological standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's actually kind of a grain of something kind of worthwhile here, because what's really going on is that she's still mentally young, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's got Edward, who's like, if you want to be with me and if you want to be a vampire, you have to marry me. So now she's got to deal with this whole like responsibility, and she's got to have like the ring, and he's got her a car, and she's got to like he's basically forcing her into like I've always had a problem with this whole thing of like the emotional blackmail of I will only turn you into a vampire. I'll only be with you if you can be a vampire, but I'll only turn you into a vampire if you marry me. And it's just it's like it's just so bothersome to me. And it's on one hand, I kind of like the fact that it's like this. She's still so young and she's dealing with growing up, but at the same time, the circumstances around being forced to grow up are so creepy and fucking strange.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Edward definitely comes off as a master manipulator for sure. I never thought about it quite from that angle, sir, but you have a very, very good point. And the movie went a long way towards trying to like cover that angle up, like to just lightly cover it with dirt so you couldn't see it anymore.
It's like we can still see,
but it's still right there, right beneath the surface.
Yeah.
Alrighty. It was stupid to be so self-conscious, and I knew that. Besides my dad and mom, did it really matter what people were saying about my engagement, about my new car, about my mysterious acceptance into an Ivy League college, about the shiny black credit card that felt red hot in my pocket right now?
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh, poor Bella with her new credit card and her new car and her engagement ring.
Yep.
Right.
Like, oh, wow.
It's like, way to make us hate your protagonist, Stephenie.
Yeah. Yep. She's like, look, my problems are so big. I'm going without Pop-Tarts and shoelaces, guys.
Read that sentence again, but in Cali girl voice.
Oh my God, you guys, I can't believe I'm going without Pop-Tarts. And do you see these shoelaces? They don't even match my outfit. And I can't go without the new ones because everyone's looking at me. And my ring is so amazing, but everyone stares at it like it's the nicest thing in this shitty little town. And Edward makes me mad because he's like weird and possessive and he wants people to know I belong to him, and I like it so beautiful, but
Well, I wanted you to read the actual sentence, but that was so much better.
Oh.
I'll take my Oscar now.
I'm gonna have to get you like a little bitty one.
This is my Oscar that I gave to myself.
Right?
I'm a comedy genius.
I'm gonna send you a blonde wig for when you're doing the Cali girls character.
Already blonde.
Oh shit! Yeah, of course you are. Yeah. Well, that's why the blonde wig would be funny.
It's just like a slightly different shade of blonde.
Yep.
No, it has to be the exact same shade as your hair.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh, but it could be like one of those really bad like Party City wigs where you can still like see the knit, like the net.
Oh my god, like the kind of they put on like Muppets and shit.
Yes.
The offences, despite the fact that we've been taking the piss out of this quite a lot, the offences have slowed down. We are currently at 9. So
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, who cares what they think? I mutter under my breath. This? A man's voice called. I turned and then wished I hadn't. 2 men stood beside a fancy SUV with brand new kayaks tied to the top. Neither of them was looking at me. They were both staring at the car. Personally, I didn't get it. But then, I was just proud I could distinguish between the symbols for Toyota, Ford, and Chevy. This car was glossy black, sleek, and pretty. But it was still just a car to me. I hate you. I hate you, Bella. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I fucking hate you. I hate you.
Yes.
me too.
Oh man.
I'm sorry to bother.
Sorry. Barry says, I got migraines listening to Meyer's book. Also, he suggests long brunette wig or dreadlocks on Zach.
Steph always does this, by the way. She has this, like, the preface thing that she does, where she's basically like, I'm facing death again. And then the first chapter always just goes into the fucking most mundane bollocks she can think of.
Exactly.
Right. It's her
like,
shtick.
Yeah, it's like, hey, let me hook super dramatic thing, but then just be like, meh.
This whole scene, that just nothing has happened. It's just been Bella whinging about all her privilege.
Yes.
And being an absolute train wreck at driving. And that's it. That's what's happened.
Right. That's the story so far, folks. Yeah, no, I agree 100%, Mason. It makes her the whining about her privilege thing makes her completely unlikable and unsympathetic. The demonstration of incompetence makes her unlikable and unsympathetic to anyone who has competence. It's just like, dude, I hate this protagonist so much for so many different reasons.
1 or 2 demonstrations of the incompetence would be fine, but it's the same thing as what she did with Bella's dad in that last one that we did, where it was like, here's how incompetent Bella's dad is, and now I'm going to hammer this home with like 50 different things.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, we're going to make you think that, you know, he's like pushing the threshold of being practically, like, I don't know, vegetative.
Right. It's like he doesn't know that you have to put water in the pan before you put the spaghetti in. That's how stupid this adult human is. And that's
just like,
you're a grown man that's been living alone, and you don't know that you're not supposed to put jars with lids on in the microwave.
Right.
It's
like, he hasn't figured this out already. Like, how many microwaves has he shorted out in the time that he's been living alone?
How many exploded jars has he cleaned out of a microwave?
Right.
That's what's been going wrong. I was wondering that. Thanks, Bella.
Right.
You're so smart. You're so smart, Bella.
Like, you're so smart. Like, oh my God.
Oh my God. Do you have like a PhD or something? I never would have figured that out.
Yeah.
You know what that has to be? If Bella's dad was going to be like that, you'd have to have what's his name? You know, the dude that plays Shane from Walking Dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you know how in the first episode he does the impression of like his girlfriend not turning the lights off in the house. That's how I imagine that. Just him playing Bella's dad, but in that character.
See, I don't know that actor for Walking Dead anymore. I now know him for Punisher, and I can't imagine the Punisher Cali Girl voice.
Yes.
No, I love Punisher.
Dude, series of Punisher was great.
Yeah, the first series was amazing. You should try watching it at some point with audio description, and just don't watch it, but just listen to the audio description as if it's an audiobook. It is fucking amazing. Like, what you've got to remember is that came out after I was already blind. The audio description on that is so good that I feel like I've watched it.
Oh.
I'm really happy to hear that. That's fucking amazing, bro. Yeah,
we're gonna have to try that now.
That carousel fight scene at the end is so good, man. Oh,
it really was. I can tell you, having watched it was fucking amazing, dude.
Yeah,
it really was so fucking good.
Just fucking smashing his face into the mirror, and oh god, it's so violent and amazing. And I'm not usually into violent stuff that much, but god damn.
Yeah, and it's like, but that was good violence.
Anyway, Stephenie Meyer.
Yeah. One moment. All right. So.
Okay. Can you? I'm sorry. There's a technical thing. Can you guys stall for like 2-3 minutes?
2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
The reason the audio description on it is so good is because Marvel are amazing at audio description. Like Daredevil, the audio description on that is great because they do the fight scenes so well. But one of the things, so you get two types of audio description, right? You get the type that actually tries to. It's like they've put effort in, basically, and it sort of adds to the story. And then you get the ones where it's just like basic description. So it's just like John goes over to the side and drinks water. But with the Marvel ones, they describe like the lighting and everything. So there's like one scene where like Daredevil's in this room and there's like yellow lighting coming through the window, and it just describes like the framing of the lighting and stuff. And it's like, oh god damn.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, because I watched the first season of Daredevil when it came out, and oh my god, I fell in love with it.
Me too, and I hate Daredevil, so
yeah.
Not actually, but it's a funny joke. I like to pretend that I hate Daredevil, but I actually really did love the Marvel series, but not as much as I loved Punisher, because when that came out on my birthday, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, it dropped on my birthday and I was so happy. I spent the day just binging it.
Oh man, yeah, because I thought Punisher was awesome. I would have to say I like it better than I liked the movie.
I've never actually watched the movie.
Yeah, because the movie, it came out a few years ago, and it was all right. I mean, as far as like action movies go, but I really liked what they did with it in the actual series, because it got a lot more into the story, and you were able to actually, really get in touch with the character instead of them just focusing on being like, oh, hey, we're gonna make this as fast-paced and all explosions and action as possible, even though it was very action-packed and there was a lot of violence and a lot of gore, which
there is, but there's also so much character development as well.
Exactly.
I think that's why it worked.
Yeah.
Like if you actually sit and pay attention to Frank's character as that series progresses, there's so many layers to it, like the family man, the violent man, the soldier, and there's so many different layers to him, and I think that's why it works for the most part.
Yeah, and I have to say that's probably one of the things that I like about building something, even if it's really graphic content. If you build your foundation, character and plot wise and get all of that development just as full and plenty as possible, it makes, and like you said, you're not the kind of person that really likes violence. And I think most of it is because it's empty violence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I said that I don't like violence, I it's sort of telling a lie, because I do like, it's not like I don't like it. I don't particularly like super graphic stuff a lot of the time, but yeah, when it's something that actually matters and it has stakes,
right? Yeah,
it's the difference between something like that and something like Saw, where Saw is literally, it's just there to give you the gore. Like, imagine if they could actually make you care about the characters in Saw. It'd be so much more traumatic.
Yeah, and then, the violence would actually matter.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, the 100%, the reason that, Frank just mutilating Pretty Boy was because this dude killed his kids.
Yeah, exactly. At that point, you're like, get him, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, this dude deserves every ounce of suffering he gets.
Yeah. At the same time, I do definitely think that as much as they did the character development really good, I think that the actor brings so much to it as well, though, because I think he's so good, and I think he plays all the layers of Frank so well, because when you see like the little flashbacks of him interacting with his kids and his wife, you see that softness, but then it's just completely gone by the time he's actually the Punisher.
Yeah,
and there's just so many, I could sit and talk to you about this for hours, to be honest.
Yeah,
we could maybe just do another stream on a separate day, just a special thing where we dissect the Punisher as a story.
That would give me an excuse to watch it again, so I'd be happy with that.
Yeah,
especially if you were willing to do the audio description thing, because I'd be really interested to see what you would think of it with the audio description.
I would just have to find a way to get that.
It's on Netflix.
Still? I thought it was off now.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't realize.
Barry says Marvel TV series left Netflix. I think it's on Disney or Hulu.
Oh, god damn.
I think it's on Disney Plus, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah, but they wouldn't necessarily have the audio description. See, this is one of the reasons that I love Netflix, is all of their originals have audio description.
Yeah.
Well, considering the production for that was already done, I don't see why Disney Plus wouldn't carry it over, because it already existed. They didn't have to put the money towards it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they might.
Yeah. Okay, so anyways.
Back to the regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to bother you, but could you tell me what kind of car you're driving? The tall one asked. A Mercedes, right? Yes, the man said politely, while his shorter friend rolled his eyes at my answer. I know, but I was wondering, are you driving a Mercedes Guardian? The man said the name with reverence. I had a feeling this guy would get along well with Edward Cullen, my fiance. Why is there
why is there a stutter in your internal dialogue?
And why are you naming your boyfriend by his full name? As if A, as if you don't know who he is, and B, as if we don't know who he is.
Exactly.
Right. And then the use of the ellipses there, it's just, and she didn't use it properly. And she did, it's not rooted to the root.
No, it's not.
Oh, gross. Oh, as if my shame wasn't deep enough. Right, so that's what's that? 3 offenses in that little bit?
Oh my god. And instead of M dashes, she was like, let's go for a change of pace. And I'm gonna use parentheses.
she is the parenthesis instead. Is that an offense? Are we classing that as an offense?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes,
Wow.
it is. Because M dashes are supposed to be the fantasy, the novel replacement for parentheses. If you're going to use parentheses in the novel, it has to be instead of M dashes. That's what I do in the Garden of Lies. Whenever I have a situation where I want to use M dashes, I use parentheses because I'm unique. Because I do shit my way. Stephenie is just incompetent.
Yes. It's like,
wow, she just racked up 4 extra offenses in that little section. That's insane.
Yes, she did. Okay, they aren't supposed to be available in Europe yet, the man went on, let alone here. While his eyes traced the contours of my car, it didn't look much different from any other Mercedes sedan to me. But what did I know? I briefly contemplated my issues with words fiance, wedding, husband, etc. I just couldn't put it together in my head. Oh God. It did. Oh my God. And then she M dashes an unnecessary. Oh God. Okay, so let me break this. This is a train wreck of a thing right here. Okay.
Yes.
Oh God.
So break it down.
This paragraph, which is actually one long sentence. While his eyes traced the contours of my car, M dash. It didn't look much different from any other Mercedes sedan to me, comma. But what did I know? Question mark. M dash. I briefly contemplated my issues with words like fiance, wedding, husband, etc. Again, the M dashes need to be removed because that question mark inside of the M dashes would mean that there was a compound sentence, or excuse me, not a compound, a sentence fragment, a long sentence fragment, by the way. There was a long sentence fragment inside of M dashes.
Yeah.
With the subject that would have made it a complete sentence outside the M dashes.
Yeah.
And then because that thing is inside the M dashes, the sentence without the stuff inside the M dashes would be, while his eyes traced the contour of my car, I briefly contemplated my issues with words like fiance, wedding, husband, etc. So we could have literally removed the M dashes and everything in there and had a proper logical sentence. But no, Stephenie, you had to add the M dashes and modify the whole fucking thing and make it completely grammatically incorrect in terms of the punctuation used and the structuring.
And add nothing. It feels wrong that only counts as one offense, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right. It's like I almost like that's a felony though. It's like you took a sentence that would have been fine and added some bullshit inside M dashes and then put a fucking sentence ending piece of punctuation inside the M dashes. It's like I can't understand.
We have lost our ability to can.
Why do people think she's good? Why do people think she's good? I don't understand.
I don't understand.
Because if you're mindlessly reading it and punctuation and actual structure isn't something that you pay attention to, there's decent parts to the story.
There
are occasionally.
I love how Mason went out of his way to couch that as much as he could.
Yeah, right. Oh,
Well, because this isn't one of them, that's why.
No.
And we have never... Apparently, the decent parts are never at the beginning, because without fail, each time we've done this, the beginning has been fucking awful.
Yes.
Yes.
And when I'm saying that, you know it's bad, because I'm the reserved one out of the three of us.
Right.
And when I get to the point when I'm saying that something is fucking awful, you know it's fucking awful.
Right. Right.
Oh.
I'll take the piss on something for the fun of it. Mason only takes the piss sincerely when it's bad.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny because Barry said, when I managed to get Zach, Mason, and Kate as beta readers, Mason would Hulk out, Kate would chew my ass out, and Zach just cross his arms and shake his head.
That sounds probably possibly.
But
Barry, I'm usually quite reserved. It's just because we're doing Twilight.
Yeah,
I would actually say, typically that would actually be me and Mason would be reversed there.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Anyways, I just couldn't put it together in my head. Oh yeah, it's so hard to put together the fact that a dude said, "Hey, will you marry me and be my vampire Sal?" And you said yes.
Right.
Oh, did I just call Bella a Sal? Yes.
Yes.
Do something about it. She offers little to the story other than that.
Right. Will you be my vampire broodmare?
Bella, can I suckle on you, please?
I like how he just blanked one word out of there.
I did too.
It was completely accidental. My brain came to a screaming halt because I meant to say you and said your, and then was like, no, swerve to the right.
His brain was like, no, abort.
Should have just said nipples. Would have been funny.
Love me some vampire milk.
Continue, Zach.
On the one hand, I had been raised to cringe at the very thought of poofy white dresses and bouquets. Why? But more than that, I just couldn't reconcile Kate, is that a word? STAID. Is that a word?
Reconcile a stayed.
Is that a fucking word?
A stayed. Hold on.
Oh, the archive doesn't know it.
Well, because
sedate.
It's fucking
sedate,
old.
Yeah, sedate, respectable, unadventurous.
It's
so
very, very, very old.
But more than that, I just couldn't reconcile a staid, respectable. Okay, yeah, no, it's proper.
Yeah, but it's it does not work with her narrator.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's I've never heard that word before. It's now in my fucking Rolodex because that's a good word. Stay.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I like that. But it doesn't work with the narrator. It's completely out of voice.
No.
Even when she does something right, she does it wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Good vocabulary. Shame your narrator shouldn't be using it.
Right, exactly. It's oh man. And it's she makes her out to. It's who is this person?
Right.
You're trying to give us.
We talk about this every single time we put Stephenie on trial. Is your narrator a 34-year-old poet, or is she an angsty drama queen teenager?
Right. Or is she an 80-year-old grandma who's, a grammar Nazi? I mean,
right.
What who is this person?
Stephenie, you're showing a bit.
Right.
You're bleeding through a little bit, Steph.
Right. It's
Okay,
like,
but more than
it's
that,
like, oh, I read Wuthering Heights like once.
Oh yeah, because that's in a yeah. I forgot about that.
Yep. I read Wuthering Heights as an audiobook.
Hey!
You get a pass. You're fucking blind.
Yeah. All these other people who, should be cultivating and propagating their sub-vocalization do not get pass.
Right. And we know Mason can sub-vocalize because he writes.
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't even know what sub-vocalizing means.
It basically means... Go ahead, Kate.
It's the voice that sounds like you in your head when you're telling yourself like stories and stuff.
Right. I get
Yeah.
it.
Or the thing that you use to memorize dialogue and shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just couldn't reconcile a staid, respectable, dull concept like... Wow. I hate you so... A staid, respectable, dull concept like husband. Okay, fuck you, Bella. Fuck you. That actually makes me angry. No. I'm a fucking tirade about that for a second. A dull, staid concept like husband. Do you have any fucking idea what it means to be a good husband, you fucking bitch? It is the single most important thing in the world other than being a good father. It is the highest calling a man can have to be a good fucking husband. Fuck Bella Swan and fuck Stephenie Meyer for writing that. Eat a bag of horse dicks. Wow, that makes me angry.
Yeah, Barry, I'd be the one to Hulk out.
Wow. Dull concept like husband. Go fuck yourself.
Well, I mean,
and then my god, and then she modifies it. Hang on, Mason. And then she modifies it with my concept of Edward. Bitch, Edward is dull. You fucking bitch.
Oh god, someone's gonna have a field day cutting that clip out.
Oh my god, dude.
I mean, we're separate on this issue anyway because marriage it's just not important to me as anyway. It's not something that interests me,
right?
But being a good partner is not dull, and
right.
So I still take the same issues as you, but just not quite as strongly because I'm not traditional like that.
Right, I get, and I understand that. I can understand you just putting the relationship standards of a marriage into a more standard relationship because you don't believe in the institution of marriage. That's fine. The point I'm making is the responsibilities of being a good committed partner, and I associate that with marriage because I take a more traditional view on romantic relationships. But yeah, even if we just leave the husband and wife part out of it and we just say the concept of being a good committed partner, there's nothing staid about that.
No.
Right, yeah.
Love is the single greatest adventure anyone can embark on. Yeah. Not to sound like too much of a fucking hopeless romantic here, but sincerely, it's the greatest endeavor anyone can partake in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, because there's so many layers, and I think part of the symptom of the disease is showing here, especially in this section right here where she said, she says reconcile a staid, respectable, dull concept like husband. It's the perpetuation of a stereotype that, a lot of people have propagated for the purpose of being like, hey, we're going to get rid of your concept that having committed relationships is a good thing. Whether it's, via, doing it with a piece of paper legally, whatever, or not,
you get into a committed long-term relationship and you become dull and boring.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. It's exactly
monogamy is for fools.
It's a continued attack on the institution of being committed to someone you love.
Yeah.
And as a Christian, I fucking hate that. As a man, I fucking hate that. As a decent person, I fucking hate that. The idea that's perpetuated in the subtext and overt tones of many parts of our culture that being in a committed relationship is for losers. How about you go fuck yourself? How about you go fuck yourself? How about that?
I love reading Twilight.
Okay, let me just decompress from that. Get back to the jester. Okay.
We're never gonna find something to police that's gonna give us as much material as Stephenie Meyer does.
If we ever do, that will be a miraculous day. I hope it's part of a longer series.
Yeah, it's like, well, hey, we still have Sarah J. Maas to go into.
Oh my God. And
so,
we still have the Ivies from that one author tuber.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a good day. That's gonna
be all the rest of the Ice Planet Barbarian stuff if we decide to be so intrepid.
Oh, we'll get there. We're going to be doing this presumably for at least a couple more years, until I don't have any intention of stopping this show.
No.
Okay. It was like casting an archangel as oh my. Oh, it was like casting an archangel as an accountant. Yes. Edward is totally comparable to the biblical embodiment of divine wrath. Fuck.
I wish I could see his face right now.
Fuck you, Stephenie.
But he looks like Brock Lesnar trying to take a shit.
It looks like Dave Bautista constipated out of his mind.
Beetroot red.
With blonde hair and a thick goatee. Oh, okay. I couldn't visualize him in any commonplace role, bitch. Other than the fact, if Edward, here's the thing about Edward as a character, okay, folks. If Edward wasn't a vampire, there would be absolutely nothing special or interesting about him other than the fact that he was immensely creepy. Okay?
That's 100% true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing in any commonplace role. He's the most commonplace love interest any fucking author has written in decades.
Yeah.
He plays piano, Zach.
But even him as a vampire is dull.
Right.
It's like, you are the biggest pussy of vampires anyone has ever seen.
Right. You are a supernatural mega predator with the ability, who's been juiced out of his mind beyond what your particular flavor of super predator typically is. You've been made practically invulnerable to anything other than your own kind.
Right.
The stakes around you could not be lower, and yet you still act like a reserved pussy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh.
It would have been more exciting had this somehow been geared for her to be with someone like Arrow from the Volturi.
Yes.
It would have been a far more interesting character.
if Arrow had seen Bella Swan and said, "I'm going to fuck with this human and manipulate," and like it was obvious the whole time that the male love interest was evil, but the female protagonist couldn't break herself away from him, that would have been an interesting and compelling story. That would have been laced with darkness. That would have been fucking cool. We would have seen this helpless, poor, stupid teenage girl getting manipulated by a literal fucking agent of darkness. That would have been good. No, instead, we got fucking Shovel Face and Mr. Vanilla the Vampire.
I love how you just sort of accidentally paid me a compliment, because whether or not that's what I'm intending to do with Valdis, that's what you think's going to happen. And so with what you just said, you just accidentally were like, yeah, if you'd have done it the way Mason's going to do it, it'd have been good, but you did it how you did it, and it was shit.
I am still so convinced that he is grooming her. He might not be grooming her for sex, but he's grooming her for something. We'll say that.
Yes.
Okay. Oh my God, Stephenie. Fuck, I hate you. Like always, as soon as I started thinking about Edward, I was wet. Say
what?
something interesting. I'm just saying, I like that would have been more interesting than whatever she's.
Okay.
I love how Mason was like, "Wait, what?"
I was caught up.
Like, wait a minute, Stephenie.
She says I was caught up in a dizzy spin of fantasies, which is the teenage girl way of saying I'm wet. So
yes, yeah.
I was close enough. The stranger had to clear his throat to get my attention. He was still waiting for an answer about the car's make and model. I don't know. I told him honestly.
I love how there's a yawn in there.
It was involuntary.
Because I was just about to say, like, why are we... Like, why is there this conversation in here? This is boring. But you did it.
It's so boring that we can't get through it. It's like
if I wasn't reading this with my two best friends in the framework of ripping this apart, I would be like, "Oh my God, please kill me now!"
Right? You'd be like, "I'm going to pull out my eyes and stuff them in my ears."
Listen, if there was, we might not agree on politics, but if there was ever anything that we needed to do to sort out prison reform, just do away with prisons. You break the law, you read this shit.
Yes. Yes.
You break the law. We put we lock you on a chair and put Twilight on repeat in headphones until you're nice again.
Violent crime plummets.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I told him honestly. Do you mind if I take a picture with it? It took me a second to process that.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, no. I would have gotten really suspicious and been like, why do you...
Mercedes Guardian.
Like, why do you want to take a picture with the car?
Okay. I'm looking at pictures of this thing. Okay.
I just double face palmed, just so you know.
You double face palmed?
I want to be clear here. This thing does not look that fancy. This looks like a regular fucking sedan to anyone. Like this dude, okay. These would have to be like car fanatics to know what this thing was.
It's like she's trying to make these people out to be like uber country bumpkin people.
Yeah, just hicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like...
And it's like, if you made them out to be hicks, they wouldn't know what the Guardian was.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like,
Okay.
oh no.
So, really, you want to take a picture with the car? Sure.
What's annoying me here is that she's doing it so shit, but she's just about skirting the borders of committing another actual offence. And I'm so desperate to slap her with another one that I feel like a corrupt cop. It's like, we have no evidence, but I want to give her one anyway.
I mean, there's evidence. It's just unfortunately not admissible in court.
Right. Oh.
Okay, really, you want to take a picture of the car? Sure. Nobody is going to believe me if I don't get proof. Okay.
What?
Right?
What?
I swiftly put away the nozzle and crept into the front seat to hide while the enthusiast dug a huge professional-looking camera out of his backpack.
What?
He and his friend turns posing by the hood, and then they went to take pictures at the back end. I miss my truck.
Oh.
Very, very convenient.
Like...
Very, very convenient. In M dashes, too convenient that my truck would wheeze its last wheeze just weeks after Edward and I had agreed to our lopsided compromise. One detail of which was that he be allowed to replace my truck when it passed on. Edward swore it was only to be expected. My truck had lived a long, full life and then expired of natural causes.
Right. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Nobody talks like this.
No.
For a start, that dialogue. Nobody talks like that. Nobody acts like that. And Edward is just not even... it's not even subtextual that he's abusive. He's just straight up controlling and abusive. I want to buy you a new car. Okay, you can buy me a new car when my truck dies. Okay, I just have to nip to the shop for something. Goes outside and cuts the brakes.
Right?
Just the hint here, it's more or less outright stated that he broke her car so that he could buy her a new one.
Right.
That's not normal behavior, Steph. That's not romantic. That's fucking weird. Jesus.
Oh, and what's beautiful is you said that before we even got to the following part here, which verifies your theory.
Yes.
And of course, I had no way to verify his story or to try to raise my truck from the dead on my own. My favorite mechanic. Wait. And then we just have... Hang on.
An M dash instead of an ellipsis.
Yeah. But my favorite mechanic... are you saying Edward is your favorite mechanic? Because he's not a mechanic.
No. I think I think the stoop was trying to imply that her favorite mechanic was Jacob, but he's not in the picture.
Then that should have been an ellipses for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So how many offenses is that sentence?
Oh, that paragraph. Oh my God. It's just like, well, see, okay. So here's the thing. Okay, folks.
Yeah.
We are going on and on and on and on about her transportation situation.
Right. This is Phil.
I know.
Don't care.
No.
Okay, Stephenie, I don't fucking care. And also, it's not really believable that a teenage girl loves her old fucked up Chevy truck more than a fucking Mercedes Benz.
Right. She's now suddenly trying to make her right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's trying to make her suddenly, oh, quick, I have to recover and make her likable, relatable girl next door after all of the, oh, I'm having to rough it out here with no Pop-Tarts or shoelaces, and oh, my life sucks so bad because, I now have this expensive car and credit card and, you know, and engaged to this dude who just...
My boyfriend's rich and a supernatural being, and I'm rich now, and he's sending me to the best college in the country. I'm so relatable, guys.
Yeah.
Right. And it's the fact that she's complaining about the privilege and completely skating over the fact that her boyfriend is clearly a gaslighting, abusive dickwad.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly... If Edward was actually so great, he would have recognized how important the truck was to her and said, when your truck dies, let me fucking take it away for a few weeks. I know a guy who restores these to new condition.
Exactly.
100%.
He could find that easy because there's a lot of Chevy truck fanatics. I don't know why they suck, but there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And had that looking like it came out the factory, and Bella would have been over the fucking moon. That would have been actual stuff that people do for people they love.
Yeah.
And actually romantic.
Right.
Mm. But
so,
see, go ahead.
Go. No, you go.
Okay. Well, I mean, because I'm saying that's the difference in character build between him and Jacob. Because Jacob already being set up to be a mechanic, he probably would have gone the extra mile and figured out somewhat how to do that himself. And then been like, look, I put all the work in because I love you. Here you go. You know.
And see, that's why I've always been Team Jacob. I hate, but I'm just going with the meme. Like, legitimately, Jacob is just the better character in every way.
I agree. So, I know there was offences in that paragraph.
Yes.
Count them.
So okay, up at the top we have very, very convenient, M dash, too convenient, M dash. I mean that's a proper use of M dashes, but I almost want to give her a fucking.
No, we have to follow the law. We are officers of the law, Zach.
We are officers of the law. We are officers of the law. We have to. I just want to hit her with a billy club so much. just want to pepper spray her in the face so bad.
Yes, that's quite serious.
That my truck would wheeze its last wheeze just weeks after Edward and I had agreed to our lopsided compromise. One detail of which was that he be allowed to replace my truck when it passed on. Okay. Edward swore it was only to be expected, semicolon, my truck had lived a long, full life and then expired of natural causes, period, according to him, period. And of course, comma, I had no way to verify his story or to try to raise my truck from the dead on my own. Okay, so that at the end here, here's one. This is a misdemeanor. This M dash needed to be an ellipses, which needs to be attached to the root. No space.
You know what this is like? This is like the literary equivalent of, you know, how they got Al Capone with like parking tickets.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I hate. That like, it's so frustrating that like this whole paragraph. It's so the content is so. It makes you. It's irritating because it's like the whole thing is I don't give a fuck, and you're making Edward sound like a douche. But the writing, this is uncharacteristically consistent and good writing. In the context of the book. I just
wheezed its last wheeze. I hate that. Again, it's not technically illegal, but I still hate it. It's immoral, but not illegal. It's so funny because It really is just like the literary equivalent of us as cops trying our best to catch her, and her just like, right, I need to clean up my act now. And she's like buying businesses to use as like to launder her money, and she's like got fronts going on and burner phones. And...
You're like,
Okay, I stopped that cold. I stopped that thought cold, refusing to let it come to a conclusion. Instead, I listened to the men's voices outside, muted by the car walls. Oh, oh, God, car. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God.
Do cars have walls? Is it glass as a wall?
No, they don't. No, they don't, Mason. No, they don't. It's a car has a body, and you like. And here's the thing: if you said, "Okay, look, folks," it should have just been muted by the car. If you wanted to sound a little bit more verbose there for whatever reason, you could have said muted by the car's body. If you wanted to be a little bit poetic, you could have said muted by the wall made of car between me and that, something like that. It would have sounded like act. Could have done it if you insisted on using the word wall, but it was used in plain was plain language, and so that implies that cars have a part called a wall. Here's the problem: unless you're talking about the firewall, they don't. And the firewall is between the cab and the engine. It would have nothing to do with muting the sound of their voices. And I don't even think Stephenie Meyer would know what a firewall was anyways. So, sin.
Yeah.
It's a crime.
Okay.
It's a crime. Cars don't have walls. Oh, my God.
I love this so much, by the way.
Okay. In quotes, we get ellipses leading into this quote. Went at it with a flamethrower in the online video. Didn't even pucker the paint. Of course. Excuse me. Right. Of course not. You could roll a tank over this baby. Not much of a market for one over here. Designed for Middle East diplomats, arms dealers, and drug lords mostly. Think she's something? The short one asked in a softer voice. I ducked my head, she's flaming.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he asked it in a softer voice, but you still heard it despite the the car wall muting it.
It's like, is this like the literary equivalent of a product placement in a show or movie? Is this what we have going on here?
We might.
The new Mercedes Guardian. You can take a flamethrower to it. You can roll a tank over it. It won't make a difference to the paintwork.
Right.
This bad boy features bulletproof glass, reinforced tire walls on our select model Mercedes-Benz brand tires, and reinforced rims to keep you rolling through any dip in the road. Buy one today.
The tires won't even burst when you get into a car chase, and the cops put stingers out.
And with our V8 fully hemisphered cylinder engine, you will be outrunning any copper, I tell you that much, folks.
Like that scene in Tokyo Drift where they where they drive past the cop in Japan and they register the speed, and the guy's like, yeah, if you're over a certain speed, they don't even come after you.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that's actually believable. I wouldn't be surprised if certain countries do have police departments with that policy. That's not the case here, but that was set in Japan. So, and I don't know for sure if that's true or not. I would imagine it probably is. The Japanese people kind of have that kind of mindset.
Yeah.
Oh, that dialogue.
I know. So bad.
Okay. And it just gets worse. Maybe. Can't imagine what you'd need missile-proof glass and 4,000 pounds of body armor for around here. Must be headed somewhere more hazardous. Yeah, on the
Wait,
yeah.
like, how could you tell that from looking at it?
Right. It's
well,
like
they must just be enthusiasts, but it's still so awkward and clunky. Oh, hurry up and commit a crime, Steph. I'm so desperate to slap you with another one.
Body armor. Okay, so we're back to the narrator. Body armor. 4,000 pounds of body armor. And a missile-proof glass. Nice. What had happened to good old-fashioned bulletproof? Well, at least this made some sense, if you had a twisted sense of humor. No, you don't need the twisted sense of humor. It makes sense. He views you as a pet, and he's doing everything he can to keep his pet safe.
I'm sorry, I don't believe the missile-proof glass exists in a commercial vehicle.
No,
it doesn't.
No, it does not.
No, it does not.
This is a crime. This is a crime because it means that the person did not do their research.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Ding.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. Or either the person didn't do their research, or you could maybe argue in Stephenie's favor if you were a lawyer defending her in the court of Prose Police. You say that the characters who say missile-proof glass are just misinformed rubes. But if they're misinformed rubes, how the fuck did they know a Mercedes Guardian at a glance?
Right. Exactly.
It really, I'm sorry, it's so ridiculous. It's like a GTA / TalkTube radio commercial.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Missile-proof glass, 4,000 pounds of body armor. Fuck off, Steph.
Right.
Right. Okay. It wasn't like I had expected. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I love how this is. I'm swinging backwards and forwards between being like utterly frustrated and so amused.
Yes.
I've run the only emotion I haven't hit at this point is arousal.
Yeah. Which I doubt that's going to happen reading this.
I mean, can you seriously tell me that you're not aroused by that car if it actually existed?
Oh, I mean, dude, if I could get my hands on a car that had 4,000 pounds worth of body armor and missile-proof glass, I wouldn't care if it got 5 miles to the gallon. I would drive that shit everywhere. Okay. It wasn't like I expected Edward to take advantage of our deal, to weigh it on his side so that he could give so much more than he would receive.
It's like, that's not what this
weigh
is.
it on his side so that he could give so... Okay, if he gave so much more than he would receive, then that would mean it was weighted on your side.
Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree that he could replace my truck when it needed replacing, not expecting that moment to come quite so soon, of course. When I'd been forced to admit that the truck had become no more than a still life tribute to classic Chevys on my curb. Still life. That doesn't mean death. Still,
a still life tribute. She's making reference to a style of paintings, like the fruit bowls or the old Campbell soup.
Oh, that's
paintings,
what that genre of art is called. That's what that genre of art is called. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, that's on me.
That's brilliant, Zach. What happened to Grandma? She's still alive now. That's why she looks like a furry apricot.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my god. Okay. I knew his idea of a replacement was probably going to embarrass me, make me the focus of stares and whispers. I'd been right about that part, but even in my darkest imaginings, I had not foreseen that he would get me 2 cars. The before car and the after car, he'd explained when I flipped out. This was
What?
just a before car. He told me it was a loaner and promised that he was returning it after the wedding. It all had made absolutely no sense to me until now.
Exactly.
Because I was so fragilely human, so accident prone, so much a victim to my own dangerous bad luck. Apparently, I needed a tank-resistant car to keep me safe. Hilarious. I was sure he and his brothers had enjoyed the joke quite a bit behind my back. And now you are making the fucking love interest sound like a fucking douche inside his girlfriend's head.
Yeah.
She is seeing how much of a prick he is and how much of an asshole he is, and she still loves him.
The thing is, you've got to admit, this is skills from Stephenie. She is simultaneously making Edward look like an abusive dickhead and making Bella look like a spoiled, privileged brat. At the same time, and that's skills right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's amazing is she's doing it all accidentally.
Yeah, and it's so crazy though, and it makes me feel kind of like a shit person, but at the same time I'm like looking at this, I'm like, you know what? You guys not only deserve all of the horrible things that's going to result for both of you because of this relationship, but I really hope that all the bad things happen. Just all of them.
Oh yeah, if this had have ended with someone just staking the two of them in the heart, that would have been amazing.
Where's Blade when you need him?
Right.
Yeah.
That wasn't me. I stole that from a meme, but God, it's so good.
Yes.
Okay. Oh my God. What a. Anyways. Okay. I was sure he and his. Or maybe, just maybe, a small voice whispered in my head, "It's not a joke, silly. Maybe he's really that worried about you. This wouldn't be the first time he'd gone a little overboard trying to protect you." Okay, so the majority of it was in italics. The small. Okay, so everything that wasn't a small voice whispered in my head is in italics, and then Mason, I sighed on its own line.
All by itself. It's its own paragraph.
That's a sin, right? We're in agreement. The court.
Yes, that is a sin.
That's a gross misdemeanor in character
emphasis
voice.
on the gross.
Yeah.
and just how is this just the fact that she's so gaslit by Edward, it's so gross.
Like that whole, or maybe, just maybe, it's not a joke. Maybe he's really that worried about you. That just it makes me feel all yuck.
Yeah, it's so gross.
It scares me for her.
That's the gaslighting that Mason just said. So she's beginning to get it. She's beginning to see what a manipulative prick he is in the words right before this, and then the little voice in her head that he's put in there says, "Oh no, he just cares about you. He's just controlling your every move because he loves you. He's just imposing his will upon you because he cares."
And a generation of kids grew up reading this and thought I want this relationship.
Right. Oh, that makes me think. Okay, the next one that we need to do, it's called After.
What is it?
You
from
are
her?
in like it's not from Stephenie Meyer, it's from some other bitch, but you want to talk about toxic like relationship that's romanticized to be like these two need to be together, blah blah blah, and it got all these same kind of market, got their panties all wet and stuff, and they were all like, I want this kind of relationship. That's another one we need to Prose Police.
Okay, I'm down.
Yeah.
All
Me
right.
too.
All right. So I'm just gonna finish up with this. We're pushing 2 hours now, so I'm gonna finish up with this
Man.
paragraph here.
And we're still in the first chapter.
We're still in the first chapter. I mean, guys, we're never gonna make it past the first chapter unless we make a point to say, okay, we're skipping ahead.
Right.
Okay. I hadn't seen the after car yet. It was hidden under a sheet in the deepest corner of the Cullens garage. I knew most people would have peeked by now, but I really didn't want to know.
What Edward would do if I did.
Oh my God, folks!
This is horrid.
Folks,
oh man!
I can never talk enough about how inconsistent. No mass, no cyborg Tigger.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But yes, Maz. Yes,
I
we're
would
going
go
to Prose Police.
My eyes fell off my head. Okay, take did roundhouse kicking Stephenie Meyer.
Yes.
I'm leaving that up because it's so true. So, okay, everyone, this trial has found that Stephenie has yet again committed cardinal sins and gross misdemeanors and felonies in the areas of punctuation, syntax, tense as it relates to syntax,
Yes.
basic grammatical structure. We accuse her of multiple felony counts of inconsistent and unbelievable character voice. We accuse her of felony counts that carry death sentences if found convicted of perpetuating extremely harmful stereotypes and negative social tropes. And this individual officer accuses her of being a fucking idiot. Officer Kate, Officer Mason?
I concur.
I concur. She has also committed, in this particular section that we have read, she has committed 19 separate offences.
Oh.
And shows no sign of changing her ways whatsoever.
Yes.
The court is forced to conclude that rehabilitation is not possible.
Yes.
Thank you, Officer of the High Court, Mason in the Dark. Unfortunately, Stephenie, we sentence you to death. And I only say unfortunately because, frankly, getting rid of you is hardly worth the cost of the bullet, but we'll live. Court is adjourned.
Bad prose, what you gonna do when the Prose Police are coming for you? Bad prose.
Ah, man, I tell you, just
19.
19 in the first 7 pages of the story. And that's because we were letting her off for the stuff that we couldn't actually file an offense for.
Would have been absolutely sky high if we could have given her one for everything we wanted to.
Yes.
And as much as I do feel that we have kicked Stephenie Meyer to death, I also sort of want to know what Midnight Sun's like, because I want to know if she's improved over the last decade or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're going to get to it. The trial of Stephenie Meyers will continue until such time as she is reformed. I don't know how she's going to be reformed now that we've just sentenced her to death via firing squad, but we'll figure it out.
Well, I mean, it could be one of those situations where, you kill them and bury and then you bring them back up and clone them into something else.
Maybe she's like Dracula and she just somehow always comes back.
She comes back in a Dalek casing.
Well, yeah, I mean, because evil like this just takes a lot of killing.
Val just takes a look at Steph and he's like, I'm not going anywhere near that bitch.
You'd be like, no.
That woman's scary.
He's like, you know what? I love suffering. Why would I kill her? She perpetuates so much of it with her right.
He's like, marry me.
I've finally found a woman who can satisfy my evil urges.
Oh, yeah, he's totally not grooming that girl from that village.
Oh, God. 19. I know that we haven't kept count up to this point, but I still feel like that would be one of the higher ones that we've done.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. Only Stephenie Meyer is able to reach those levels. It's at least... Actually, with the exclusion of All Fish to the Sorceress, but that's in a league unto itself.
Yeah, because All Fish to
that
the
is in a league unto itself.
I don't know. I still stand by the fact that Uranus in the night sky is one of the most beautiful lines I've ever heard.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. The spectacular side of Uranus.
So close. Reach out and touch it. You can't leave that part out.
Yep, exactly.
Pivotal. It's pivotal to the scene, Caitlin.
Yes, exactly. We're all standing outside, gazing at the spectacular side of Uranus as it passed by, so close that you could almost touch it.
So juvenile, but also just so... Oh, God.
It's like, yeah, no, this was written by a ghostwriter. Yep, because
by a ghostwriter taking the piss on the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. A ghostwriter taking the piss on the guy who commissioned them, or someone cranked out these manuscripts just lily fucking nilly and expected someone to buy them and heavily modify them because they sucked.
Right.
And Michael Ross was just like, oh no, I'm just gonna buy these, throw my name on them and throw them out.
Yeah. Yep.
It might fart us to oblivion. Wait, what?
Uranus.
It is a gas giant, so
yeah. Yeah. Which is kind of funny because I was telling Zach this the other day, Mason, but in my part of the super secret, well, not so super secret project anymore, my villain, his name is Caliban, and it was actually the name of the villain from The Tempest, so I was kind of throwing it out there and being like, yeah, this is the villain, but I thought about it and realized, I was like, wait a second, that's actually the name of the moon that orbits Uranus. Yeah.
She's gonna work that joke in there somewhere.
Yes, I am going to work that joke in there somewhere, but it's going to be in there on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, considering the setting of your novel there,
yeah,
that would actually work.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, sirree, Bob.
I actually have a secret project that I'm developing now too, by the way.
Oh.
Which I'm happy about because that one is going to be a lot sillier than the Bleeding Ground, and I can actually work some jokes in.
Yay!
Because the Bleeding Ground is extremely serious.
Yes.
Although You look like shit. Nice to see you too. I fucking love that. I can't lie.
Oh, that is one of those.
In some ways, though, when you have a serious story like that and you find little moments where you can work in genuine humor, it's actually just better, in my opinion. Like finding the humor in those really dark, gritty stories, like what I sometimes manage to do in Garden, it makes it all the better.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons that I actually really liked, why I really liked Enemies of the Crown was I struggle with this sort of stuff because I don't like stroking my own shaft that much. But I really liked having Evander just sort of slowly coming out of his shell, and like you just get to see him beginning to move on from what happened. And I'd love that moment of him like talking to the sparrow and then sort of like joking about being offended that it didn't even chirp back at him, and like there's so many bits with Evander in that chapter that I'm like, so now we see that you are an actual person, because in Desolation, obviously the entire time is just him being emotional and being devastated by what's happened. And then in Enemies of the Crown, it's just you actually get to see who he is as a person. And I actually, going into Enemies of the Crown, I didn't really care about Evander that much. And then at the end of it, I was like, I've got to go back to Valdus now.
Yeah. It's like, oh no, man.
And so to expound on that a little bit, one of the nice things about Evander as a character is that there's nothing particularly miraculous about the character. And that's good for this reason, because he's so relatable without feeling like the author was going out of their way to make him relatable. It's like, this is just a man, like an actual adult, fully fleshed out, mature man. And so any man who's like not actually a little boy in a man's body can relate to that and like empathize with him. And it's just good to have characters like that every now and then, where it's like, this is clearly someone who would have been more than happy to just be a regular guy who's been thrust into this extraordinary situation.
Yeah.
Well, like, one of the things I really tried to avoid with it was that I could have easily... Valdus is so like capable and obviously like brutal and to use a word I don't really want to use, but like badass. And I could have easily tried to make Evander equally as badass. I could have made him like super capable. And one of the things that I really tried to focus on was making him perceptible rather than physically powerful. And he gets shit done in that chapter, because he's he's going around wielding that staff like nobody's business. But at the same time, I really did try to focus on his powers of perception and working things out. More than anything, Amin is the one that's like physically, like, she levels that god. Well, a couple of them just with like vicious elbows and stuff. And I really enjoyed that chapter. I'd loved writing it, and listening back to it, I was like, one of the things that I've really tried to do with Bleeding Ground is write something that I would like to read, and I think that's been really working for me.
Well, you should always, I believe, as an author, if you've written something that you wouldn't enjoy reading, you should probably go back and rewrite it.
Right.
And that's an interesting point you make with Evander and his strong suit not being physical indomitability, because it's so rare, especially these days, that we get a character who this is the main character. Anyways, I will see you guys later. Ciao. All right, man. Thanks for stopping by.
See you later, buddy.
Yeah.
Have a good day. Be safe. All that good stuff. Take care of yourself. Go say some weird shit to some people in real life. Okay, but anyways,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so rare that we get a character where their physical abilities are not one of their main strong suits when we're talking about a protagonist. And so to have a character where their perception and their fortitude and what they're capable of mentally is more so the focus, but they are still physically capable. I always like those characters because they're the exception to the rule. And
do you think the focus on physical prowess and capability, do you think that's due to like the Marvelization of mainstream culture? Because you've got this whole, you've got the MCU, which is so focused on obviously superheroes who've got enhanced capabilities. So do you think that's led to the public consciousness sort of expecting capable, like physically capable people?
Well,
yeah.
I would. Oh,
Do you want to take it first, Kate, or what do you want?
Well, I was just gonna say, I think that that's a thing that has been in storytelling throughout the centuries, pretty much. Because I mean, look at Greek and Roman mythology.
That's where I was going to.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. The same points. Yep. Go ahead.
Well, no, you can go ahead because that's what I was going to say.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. It's like, well, there's always been some balance in storytelling between characters that were physically powerful and just kind of muscled through problems and characters that were mentally powerful and more so relied on their wits. And it's one of those things that varies a little bit by culture and time period and what's kind of in vogue in the moment in that culture, in that location. But there's always both characters being told. Hercules and Odysseus are perfect examples. Hercules was a hero who was a son of, who was a demigod, and he was just a physical, indomitable force of nature. Odysseus was depicted as being a very smart fighter, immensely talented, tactical. So you always get that dichotomy in protagonists.
Yeah. And the fact that he was just a man, actually, who was able to, yeah.
And if you look at something like Lord of the Rings as well, you take characters like Aragorn, who, he's a good warrior, but the thing that makes Aragorn is his. How to articulate what I mean here? Leadership. Well, it's leadership, and I guess a bit like Evander with the perceptiveness that he has. Right. He's a hunter and a tracker, and he's been living as a ranger all these years, so he's just been living off the land, and rather than being, he could have easily been this big, brutish, muscly guy that's just like, I'm going to go be king and take over, but Tolkien didn't go down that route. And really, very few people in The Lord of the Rings are good because of physical prowess. I mean, Gimli, maybe?
I mean, or Boromir.
Yeah.
Well,
Boromir works.
Now you have to define physical prowess a little tighter, because you could also argue Legolas is indomitable because of physical prowess. It's just specced into different stats. He's not super strong and super unbreakable, but he has superhuman dexterity and agility and focus.
Right. Or Glorfindel, which he's in the books, and you don't actually get to see him in the films. But, the fact that his, extreme, like, speed, agility, endurance,
Well, dude is so scary, he sends the Witch King packing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So,
for reference, Zach, as Sauron's coming back to power, he sends the Witch King out to, just go get shit done while he's like preparing. So the Witch King goes out and starts taking down the kingdoms of men, and as he's taking down, what's the frigging kingdom called? Oh, I can't remember right this second, but basically there's a big battle. Glorfindel turns up. Witch King's like wrecking shit, sending his army out, taking over, doing all this cool stuff. Glorfindel turns up. Witch King's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Was this a human?
No, he was
an elf.
An elf, okay.
Yeah.
And that was the point that I was going to bring up, actually, with what you were saying about Legolas, is that is probably more to do with the fact that he's an elf rather than just Legolas as a person, because elves in general have that physical prowess because they are Arrow's first children. Right.
Yes, sirree, Bob. That's facts. But yeah, so that's I agree. Having Harry Dresden would be, and you can have a character that fits kind of in the middle too. Harry Dresden is a great example of a character that fits in the middle because he's resourceful, intelligent, and you always tries to use the mind non-violent based solution first. But if he comes to blows, he's a fucking powerhouse. But it's kept interesting by the fact that it's made clear at all times that there's plenty of people who can out-hit him, but he's still a contender. Yeah. So there's hybrid, and I would say Dahl just kind of a hybrid character. He's quickly moving, especially towards towards where I'm writing now. He's becoming more of a force of nature, but that's because I'm building him up to contend with things that are basically demigods.
Well, they'll obviously up to the point where I'm at. A lot of his success is due to his planning more than anything. It is tactical prowess.
Yeah.
Right.
And sort of the same thing as what you were saying with Aragorn, like his leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The reason that they've managed to be so successful is that he's a good leader that's managed to, train a good pack.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So, when are you going to tell me about the multiverse thing, by the way?
Oh, Caitlin, do you want to do that right now?
We can.
Okay. This will be cutting edge stuff for anyone who's intrepid enough to come and find this. They'll have the first scoop on it. Yeah. Okay. So, me and Caitlin are essentially my original plan before I ever met Caitlin was basically to do an expanded MCU style universe with my books. I thought I was being so original, and then I found out a lot of authors have done that, but oh well. And so anyways, so I was planning on doing that, and then I met Kate, and we started talking, and we figured out through talking about our individual projects and getting to know each other and all that stuff that it wouldn't be that hard to make our universes compatible. And so we've made some world building adjustments to where they now are in the same multiverse. And then you wrote in the reference to Dal, and that's that obviously is a sound bit of Easter egg to tie into the multiverse. We call it the Adventurous Multiverse. Yeah, because I think that is what actually me and Caitlin settled on. But so yeah, essentially it is a plan to connect every single thing that me and Caitlin write in one connected multiverse. Not one universe, but multiverse, like the MCU has with multiple dimensions on Earth and all that kind of crap.
Yeah.
I mean, the world next door makes that pretty feasible.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, it does, because it's the starting point, and I can't give too much away because then I will spoil the whole thing. But
because of spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers, you say. But, for some of you, if you want to go to the Patreon and get like the extended synopsis and all of my updates on that, you can be privy to said spoilers of some things. So, but basically it opens up the possibility that you're able to create, alternate, or manage different types of reality based on
Interesting.
using your mind. So, yeah.
Kind of like
This
Demosés.
Mm-hmm.
this the secret project thing that I was mentioning is I'm gonna do a bit of a meta comedy sort of thing. So it's called The Job's Worth, and so it's basically it's going to be a slice of life, but I'm going to make the narrator as much as a character as the actual main character. And I'm planning to work in all these jokes. So like, I was planning on having it started off like, obviously this won't be exact, but something like, "So, you've arrived. Greetings, my friend." No, wait, sorry, that didn't work. Let me try that again. "Hello there." No, that's still not right. Sorry, the author's just come off some dark fantasy thing, and I'm struggling to get the tone right.
I love it.
Yes. Yes.
Let's go with, "Hi, nice to meet you again. Now you're wondering whether we've met before. Well, that depends. Have you ever read a story before? Well, if you have, then yes, we've met. I'm narrator, but you can call me Naz."
Oh, the implications there are majestic.
Yes.
Oh my God, the implications there are so majestic, Caitlin. Oh, can you say butterfly engineer, folks?
Yes, that's exactly what I was just about to say.
Butterfly, what?
Butterfly engineer.
Okay, it's a spoiler, so Kate will have to give it to you once we don't go live. Actually, so everyone who
he's
isn't
a whole
watching,
ass character in my stuff.
we're gonna go over to Twitch and do Caitlin's PC setup very shortly. I'll probably like a piss. I imagine Mason might have to go to bed or something, but me and Caitlin are going to go over to Twitch at some point shortly and get her PC set up. Everyone, thank you for being here.
Yes.
Barry, especially for being basically live tweeting through the show.
Yep,
thank you
being
so much
you.
for with us, Barry.
Thanks, Barry.
Thank you, Barry.
So this has been Team Adventurous. This has been the trial of Stephenie Myers. Followed up with some, book talk afterwards because we're all authors, right?
Authors.
Alrighty. Peace out, everyone. Welcome to the adventure. Dun 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 dun.